And what a record Ruby does have around the national course. He is the best modern day rider, certainly the around those big fences. He's had 6 rides in the national for 2 wins, a second and 2 fourths, which is quite remarkable. He's on Hedge Hunter, so let's check the SPs now on our second.
And Twist Magic wins the 9-4 favourite Ruby Walsh, who Jim said is on Hedge Hunter, who's being very well backed at 12-1, and he's currently 3rd favourite for the Grand National, which is under 2 hours away. Also number 6 Valverde, that one at 14-1. That one, they're coming for that as well, last year's winner. So they're coming for the former winners in the last few minutes. Farallon second at 7-2, and Royal Shakespeare at 20-1. But Ruby Walsh wins on National Day, and he's on a very fancied horse who's won before, Hedge Hunter, now 12-1, 3rd favourite for the National.
It's always good for the confidence to have a winner on the big race day. But now we're going to delve into the archive once again, because 10 years ago there was a bomb scare here at Aintree and the course had to be evacuated and the race was rescheduled for Monday. It was won then by Lord Galeen, ridden by Tony Dobbins. So let's remind you of that victory along with some of the other major sporting events of 1997.
There's no better feeling in the world.
And the Ashes have been retained by Australia.
Oh, Posse comes forward. Oh, and it's Bannister.
Good run up front by Hughes, and Di Matteo shoots! Oh, what about this? What about this? It's possibly the quickest ever goal in a Wembley Cup final. Conversation on the telephone. Wake up every day, that would be a start. I would not complain with my wounded heart. I was a short fuse. It's Joyce racing through. He's going for the line. Oh, a tremendous run there by the St Helens vice-captain.
What a comeback.
She's done it!
And became the first Briton ever to reach the world's top 5. Greg Rudetsky.
I'd like to thank all the people who voted for me. It's a difficult name to spell, as you know.
So I just ask everybody here, including you from the BBC, to leave the course and get out onto the public highway immediately.
Got it up tremendous reception from the crowd. Lord Galeen is the winner of the 1997 National.
Well, joining me is Tony Dobbin. It all worked out in the end, but what do you remember about Saturday?
Yeah, it was a bit mad, a bit panic. I can remember the alarms were going off and a few of us just grabbed our jackets because we thought we'd only be out of the weighing room for half an hour or something. So then when it came to it that we weren't getting back in, we had no car keys or anything like that, or no money or anything, so it was a bit hectic for me, and I can remember I rang a friend of mine, Barry Murta, to come and get us in Liverpool, and we had to walk all the way through down to M58, and then went amongst about 100,000 people, what it seemed to be, but it wasn't very nice at the time, but it was good on the Monday.
How different was it running on the Monday?
It was amazing. It was such an atmosphere. It was a different sort of an atmosphere. It was very strange coming to Aintree for like one race, one ride at 5 o'clock in the evening. It was something that obviously none of us had ever done anything like that before, but the people that came, they put on a fantastic atmosphere for everyone, and it was, for me it was better than being on a Saturday, obviously, but it was really good.
How do you remember that race? Every blade of grass?
Yeah, sort of. Like I can remember, I made most of the running on him, and I nearly got took out of the water. Jump a loose horse nearly took me out, so I was very lucky to stay in there. And I can remember turning in to jump like the second last first time around, and I heard Jamie Osborne and Richard Dunwoody talking behind me saying, "We haven't gone very fast," and I'm thinking, well, are they just saying that now to get me to go faster for them? What's all? It was a great day for me, and I'd like to do it again.
Well, we'll bring in now the managing director of Aintree, Charles Barnett. We've just been looking back at 1997, the bomb scare. I mean, obviously you planned for everything, but to actually put the plan into action must have been rather difficult.
Well, it certainly was at the time, so it was a surprise and a shock, of course. And the difficult thing was to get everybody to realise it was a serious event.
I remember you having to chuck even Des Lynam out of the car park, wasn't it?
Yes, well, I invited him back this year, but unfortunately couldn't come, because I'd love to have had the opportunity of doing it again. But I thought it was the right thing to do at the time, just to get the message over to the world, really, and to the people on the racecourse, that we had to get everybody out quickly.
Okay, let's just remind you of that moment.
Unfortunately, we're going to have to evacuate the whole course. Everybody will have to leave, including you, the BBC, now, to go out onto the highway. There have been 2 coded bomb warnings received by the police, and there is no possibility of taking any chances. Consequently, we're going to abandon racing for today and make a further announcement later. So I just ask everybody here, including you from the BBC, to leave the course and get out onto the public highway immediately.
Thank you, Charlie.
Is that giving you the grey hair, is it?
I'm looking at that. It's only 10 years ago. It must have been that, yeah. It was quite a hard day, it really was.
Was there any talk about abandoning it altogether?
Well, of course, at the beginning, that was quite a thought in everybody's minds, but we were pretty determined to try and run it. And having got discussions with the police going and understood that they were happy to do it, provided we could search the course, and then got the owners on side, we felt it was going to be feasible to do.
And was it true that there was another scare on the Monday?
Yeah, there was indeed. There was another call taken on the Monday, and there was a bit of discussion about that at the time. And I had the one opportunity in my life of being able to say to David Nicholson and Jenny Bettman, "Can you just wait there to saddle up your horse, please? We've just got a little incident."
Did she listen?
She certainly did on that occasion, yeah.
Well, just before I let you go, just bring in one other man who was very instrumental in that day is Jim McGrath. Because, Jim, you weren't on top of the grandstand, you were out in the country, and so you didn't have to evacuate. So I think you had to take up the microphone for quite some time, didn't you?
Do you know what, Sue? They forgot all about me out there. I was out at Beaches, and they didn't know I was there, even the security guards. So I ended up holding the baton for about 13 minutes and 50 seconds. What they did was they locked the cameras into positions in about 4 different areas, and just kept going to those shots all the time, because we had to relay the message to our viewing public that was what was exactly happening. And of course Des couldn't operate downstairs, so it was a funny set of circumstances.
Yes, I think, thanks very much, Jim. I think his 30 minutes 50 probably felt like 3 hours and 50, but it was absolutely amazing in 1997. But now you're going. I mean, Ginger McCain has called you a pillock for going live on air this afternoon, because he thinks you've made such a great, so many improvements here that he wishes he was 30 years younger.
Well, it has improved a lot, obviously, and we spent a lot of money on the site, which is what it's all about. This place was literally a dump in 1983, and it was bought by the Charitable Trust. And now we've achieved our ambition, which is to make the site worthy of the event itself.
We have a wonderful legacy. You must be so proud to see everything that's happened here, and the attendances and everything else.
Well, it's very nice to see a success, and the Grand National is part of our national heritage. It's very important that it should remain that, and to expand and get better every year.
I know it's got a very special place in your heart.
I'm afraid it has, Sue. Yeah, I'll be casting a tear later on, but let's get the race done and dusted this year, and then I'll start thinking about the future.
Well, good luck with Ascot with the future, but Tony, can't let you go without talking about Longshanks and the chances. How fit is he?
Yeah, he had a little setback a couple of weeks ago. He bruised the foot, but he's had a racecourse gallop, and he's been doing plenty of swimming, so I'm sure he'll be fit enough.
And how about you, fit and well?
Yeah, very well. I had a fall on Monday in the Irish National, and I was a bit worried for a day or two, but it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, Because it's stamped on your arm.
Yeah, it's stood on me. Yeah, so but it's fine. It's grand.
You're hard, tough men, aren't you? Anyway.
No, but don't get soft to me old age. Anyway.
Anyway, good luck this afternoon. Thanks very much, Tony.
And Tony Dobbin will be heading back into here. This is the canteen, or the little cafe area by the jockey's room. There's plenty of food there. Most of it remains uneaten. The jockey's sitting around watching the television and gives us a chance to have a chat with AP McCoy and also Joe Tizard. Both got big rides in the big race. And AP Lammy, you weren't particularly confident when you did the preview programme last year, and French horses, it's been a long time since there's been a French trained winner.
Yeah, it has. I think I can't remember how long.
140 years.
A long time. So Lammy's got a lot to live up to really in that respect, and he's going to be the first one for that length of time. And Kalami is full brother that makes riding. So there's two of them, but hopefully he's got a good chance. He's got plenty of weight, as I said last night. But he is one of the classer horses in the race, having finished a night behind Kate O'Start and New Rear down there. So we'll have to see. Need a lot of luck like everyone else.
And when Mick managed to win the race on Rough Quest, he did come up with one of the daftest lines in Grand National history, but it's gone down as very memorable. Have you thought about what you might compare winning the Grand National to?
Well, a lot has happened for him since then. He's got divorced for one, and he's become a dad. So, I mean, the Grand National is the greatest horse race in the world, and I've been lucky enough to win a lot of the other big races, and obviously to win the Grand National is every jockey's dream, and I'm no different.
Now, Joe, for you, to actually have a ride in the race is particularly impressive given the injuries that you've been through in the last couple of years.
Well, yeah, it was 5 years ago now I broke my back. The last couple of years I've been safe. But, 5 years ago I had with a broken back, but that's all good, touch wood now.
Now, Paul Nicholls, when I went down there, said he's particularly pleased that to be able to give you a really good ride, and Royal Eclair is the horse in question. Finished second in it a couple of years ago?
Yeah, I mean, he ran a blinder in it 2 years ago. He was unlucky, he fell at the first last year. He'd kind of lost his way, but they've given him a wind-up over Christmas, and I rode him in the cross-country race at Cheltenham, and I mean, he stopped very quickly looking like he was going out on the last circuit, but the ground there was atrocious, and it was a bog, and as soon as he hit the better ground and up the hill, he flew again. So ground conditions are in his favour, and I'm hoping for a really good run.
You're really looking forward to the challenge, both of you. Still enjoy the Grand National?
Oh yeah, it's as I said, it's the greatest horse race in the world, and be able to take part in it is something we're very privileged to do, but obviously it's more or less all about winning, really.
It usually is, I'm afraid. Exactly that. We wish you both well.
Thank you.
We certainly do. Brave men, hard men, and they'll be out obviously big races at 4:15, and that's the main attraction today, and over 70,000 people are here. They're having picnics up on the bank, all trying to get a special place to view this great race, and it looks as though they're right at the first fence, which is always very, very memorable, and they're at the canal turn. Well, they'll be having their champagne and picnics on there. It is really a special occasion here, so much more than just a sporting event, and that's probably a free view as well from the canal as well. Anyway, we spoke to Ginger McCain earlier today, but another legendary figure in the world of racing has a runner in the National. Mercy Rymel is the owner of Simon. Well, she and her husband Fred Rymel have had 4 national winners over the years, and I'm sure it will be an emotional afternoon if the 87-year-old is back in the winner's enclosure. Scoo went to meet her.
His father was here, and then his father decided he'd moved to Lambourne, and so we came here. He was champion jockey before the war. He broke his neck twice and he couldn't ride anymore. Fred organised the work, I organised the entries.
There's been so many fabulous horses trained
There's
here.
5 national winners come out of this yard, because Fred's father trained a national winner, Forborough, in 1932.
What was the best of the national horses? I mean, ESB must have been a fabulous horse.
Oh, he was. He was a very good horse, ESB, and a very nice horse. Jumping the last, Devon Lock we were up sides, I think, Devon Lock, and then on the run-in, he gradually pulled away and was about 4 lengths or 5 lengths in front of us, and then he suddenly did the splits and collapsed. And my memory, I'll never forget it, Fred turned to me, he said, "Good God, I won a national, but what a terrible way to win it."
Why did Devon Lock do what he did?
I think he was like a long-distance runner, and he was short of oxygen. You've seen those long-distance runners come into an arena and not know where they are, and I think that's what happened to Devon Lock. I don't think it was anything to do with the crowds.
And of course, Nicholas Silver was the last grey to win the national. How good was he?
a very good-looking horse, but he had to have the top of the ground.
For 25 yards to run to the end of the 61 National. It's Nicholas Silver from Merriman. 15 yards to run, and Nicholas Silver is the winner.
Gay Trip was probably amongst the most famous after ESB.
I think so, yes. He was a very good horse, Gay Trip. Very good jumper.
Gay Trip, trained by Fred Rimal, who won it with ESB, and Nicholas Silver is winning it for the third time. It's Gay Trip striding away from Belcher in second place. Gay Trip coming up to the line and getting a great reception. Gay Trip's the winner of the 1970 National.
And then your last of them, not least, Rag Trade, ridden by John Birch.
He was a huge, big horse, and he won the Welsh National in the same season, prior to winning the Grand National.
And it's Rag Trade, going to win a fourth National for Fred Rimal. John Birch is going to win the National. Rag Trade is sliding to the line from Red Ron second. I catch a third. That's how they're going to finish in the National. Rag Trade is the winner. Red Ron is second.
You've had 4 national winners, ESB, Nicholas Silver, Gay Trip, Rag Trade. How does Simon compare to those?
Likewise, he's more like Gay Trip than anything else in appearance, and I would have thought a similar sort of horse.
He's a stocky horse.
Yes, he is. He's certainly not a big horse, but none of those national winners were, except Rag Trade. I think the National is a race where there's a huge amount of luck. That I'm sure.
Maybe, with Fred smiling down, Mercy will get that luck.
And there is Andrew watching that and looking very pleased with himself. Good luck this afternoon. Well, joining me now, well, I've got full of celebrities here now. I've got Cilla Black, Bonnie Tyler, William Roach and his wife Sarah from Coronation Street. And I feel like I need to say, step inside, love.
Well, I have. I've come home. I've stepped outside of London to come home, and what a day it is today. It's absolutely stunning.
As a local, you must be so proud of this. Because you've been here before, so you've seen the change.
Well, since a child I used to come here, but I'm not in the posh place where I am today, because I'm a guest of the gorgeous John and Judy Halewood, and we've all going to have a bet, Sue, on Kellerme, which is John's horse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is stunning, and...
he's confident, is he?
Well, we're all very confident, actually. I'm going to lose my shirt, more than my shirt today, on this horse, if it doesn't come in. But, he's very gracious, John. He's gracious. He said if his horse doesn't win today, Kellerme, he would like Idle Talk to win. For a very special reason. He's friends of
Donald and Ginger McKay.
But he did say, it's a shame about Ginger. Why, I don't know. There, I've said it.
Bonnie, what about you? Do you enjoy the racing?
Well, it's really good fun to be here. I've never been to the Grand National before. I've been to a few other races, but this is just fantastic atmosphere. And of course, we're in the Queen Mother's box, or what do we call it? And so with John Halewood and Judy now. But I got 3 bets.
Have you?
I did one with a pin.
Well done.
Can't remember the name of it, but last time I did that, it won.
Absolutely. Keep your betting slip.
And Kellerme and Idle Talk, of course.
Absolutely. And William, obviously, from Coronation Street. And your wife, actually, is the judge.
I've got to win to pay for Tracy's trial. And this is the one who sent Tracy down and also refused us legal aid.
Yes,
and it's my wife.
Legal aid.
Yeah, so I've got to win. I won on Twist of Magic on the last race, got a bit there, but we've got to win. Yeah, Kellerme with John Hay. We're all with John.
And if not Kellerme, then what else?
I've no idea. No, it's Kellerme.
So
there is no
Jack High.
Yeah, there is no what else. It's Kellerme or nothing.
Oh, yeah, that's good boy.
But what a day! What have you done to get this weather?
I know, we're very, very lucky, aren't we? Well, enjoy your day, and maybe see you later if John's in the winner's enclosure.
Thank you.
Enjoy it. Lovely to see you.
Yeah, bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
The runners behind me for our next race, the Aintree Hurdle. But before we move on to that, just one more thing about the Grand National. One of the most confusingly named horses is number 6 Valverde, named by his owner Bernard Carroll after the place that he has in the Algarve. Now, if you're looking down your race card and thinking, where is number 6? He's not. He's number 7 this year. Anyway, Brian Gleeson went to find out about his chances of doing the double.
I never thought of whether I had a chance or not. When I saw him walking around at the start, all I wanted to do was get him back. I didn't want him to go at all.
As they turn for home, it's number 6 Valverde, 2 or 3 lengths in front for Slippers Madden. It's number 6 Valverde who's out-jumped and outstayed them. 20-year-old Slippers Madden wins it in his first ride.
What does it mean to the Brazil family to win the greatest jump race in the world?
It's really hard to put it into words, you know. It's only when you see how people react to the fact that you did win the race, because it's not your everyday race. Like, nobody lets you forget you've won the national.
That's it. They're ready and they're racing this time.
Where did you watch the race from?
There's an old stand there where the press go up, and there was a big steel pole that I used for leaning against. And I picked up my glasses to watch it, and so I had to put them down after about 3 fences. I wasn't able to hold them steady enough. But when he came around to the front of the stands there, I saw him jump in the water. It was about 18th or 20th. So I was able to pick him up then.
Then on the outside, the number 6 Valverde.
Why were you so nervous? You've had plenty of winners here in Ireland.
Yeah, I'd say it's just the national thing, like having watched it for years and seeing what can happen, what normally does happen. There's always 40 starting out, and generally you'd be lucky if there's more than 10 horses finishing. But there he is, you know, travelling as well as the big ones in the betting. And Niall was very cool from there.
Then number 6 Valverde loading in and making a line of 3.
His opposition here, you've in JP's colours Tony Mackay, on the inside in the colours of Trevor Hemmings, Hedgehunter, steered by Ruby Walsh. Another jockey may have panicked here, but he was really cool, wasn't he? Looks across
at Mackay there.
There must have been words there, I'd have thought.
There was. Ruby said to Mackay, "How are you going?" And Mackay says, "All right." He says, Ruby says, "Have a look at the fella beside you."
He's the main danger.
As they charge towards the elbow, it's number 6 Valverde in front of Hedgehunter, who's battling on.
You must have been shouting at this stage.
I was shouting then, all right.
As they come up towards the line, it's number 6 Valverde who's out-jumped and outstayed them for Slippers Madden. 20-year-old Slippers Madden wins it in his first ride.
I'd usually be emotional about something like that if someone else won it, but I'd say I was maybe in shock, you know.
He's 11 years of age, but he's like a 2-year-old. He's so nimble and he's so full of energy.
He's like elastic, you know. He can stretch and use himself. He doesn't like to get tangled up in tight situations anyway. He likes to keep free of trouble. So it's probably an asset to him when he's running in a 40-runner race.
Can he do it again?
I'm really looking forward to the race. He's the real profile of a national horse. He's a very clever jumper, doesn't do anything silly. Stamina is unlimited. Ideally, if you want to know what ground I want, it'd be the same as last year. Now it's dry at the moment, but sure, you don't know what it's going to be like on the day. There's very few people probably expect it to be done again. I probably don't feel as much pressure this year, the fact that he's already a winner.
Fantastic shots, and doesn't number 6 Valverde look well? Well, another man who'd dearly love to win the Grand National is Philip Hobbs. He's got 2 runners in it, Muncaghostin and Zabenz, but right now he has the pressing matter of Detroit City in the Aintree Hurdle. Now, Philip, the only time this horse has ever disappointed you in his life was last time the Champion Hurdle.
Yeah, and there's nothing really come to light since either, so it's very odd. You know, usually I think 9 times out of 10 at least you find a reason why, but didn't on this occasion.
I saw him in the pre-parade ring that day, and I saw him down at the start, and he looked almost too relaxed, almost half asleep. Does he seem to be a bit more perky today? I know he's always quite laid back.
He's always half asleep anyway, you know. He's cantering down there now, and he always had to sort of a bit of kick at the back wall and saddling up, and he did at Cheltenham. He's done so again today. So I don't know. We're a bit stumped really.
And as far as the big race is concerned, Zabenz interests me. He's been all over the world.
Yes, he has. Yeah, fantastic horse. Really, he was the leading hurdler in Australia, and then he won decent races in America as well before he came to England. My wife Sarah rides him out every day, and he's a lovely horse to deal with, and hope he has a good safe round. But he'd have a squeak, yeah.
And I hope Monkey runs well too. Old Muncaghostin, fantastic horse. Talking of Australia, let's go to our resident Australian, Jim.
Well, these are the details. It's 2.5 miles, this Balika Beer Aintree Hurdle, jumping 11 flights in all, and won last year by Asian Maze. And that's the course that they take. Let's just have a look at them quickly as they go out on the course. Runners and riders: Afsoon, Mick Fitzgerald; Alala, Timmy Murphy; Arcalis, Paddy Brennan; Takeout 4 and 5; Detroit City, Richard Johnson; Jazz Messenger, Slippers Madden; Kawajino as Wayne Kavanagh; Strangely Brown, David Casey; Whispered Promises as Alan O'Keefe; Asian Maze, Ruby Walsh; Gaspara, Tom Scudamore; and Star Antique, Davy Russell. They're the runners.
Well, we've got a strong favourite here in Detroit City at 7-4, 9-2 Asian Maze, 5-1 Afsoon, it's 10-1 Jazz Messenger. Arcalis has been the each-way horse in the race from 14s into 11s, and they've also nibbled at Strangely Brown, 12s into 11. But the champion hurdle favourite, who was so disappointing, is being backed here to recoup the losses and is a 7-4 market leader.
Well, what I can't understand, we've got Detroit City here who ran those all right. They've taken the blinkers off him after the champion hurdle skew. But what I can't understand, why is he so short in the betting here at 13-8 when Afsoon, who was third in the champion hurdle, is 6.5-1?
You've got to say that they're not machines. He ran a bad race. You see a number of ones before him, before that 6. I think people are forgetting about that run, saying that's not his true form. If he comes back to his true form, he wins.
Right, no blinkers on today. Philip thought he might have spat the dummy out then. What about Asian Maze? I saw in the stables last night, tiny little mare. She's won the twice she's been here. She's won this race last year.
Yeah, and then we see horses like Mighty Man come back here, and if they like this course, they tend to keep winning it. And we have to give her the utmost respect. She's a very, very good filly on her day.
She certainly is. Tom Mullins trains this one in Ireland, and she was very relaxed when I saw her last night. Well, I mentioned Afsoon earlier. Trevor Hemming's colours, he's got 3 running in the National. There you are, the green and the yellow. Now, he ran very well to be third in the champion hurdle. He's got every chance here.
Yes, down at the start here, horses milling round. Asian Maze in particular, typical filly. I think the Sunshine's been really good for her. She looks fantastically well. But a question for Scoo. I'm used to having horses put blinkers on and tongue ties and all the rest of it. Indeed, Detroit City's got a tongue tie today. But blinkers taking them off. Why would you do that, Scoo?
A change is good as a rest, isn't it, John? And sometimes you can get fed up with the blinkers. The effect of making them concentrate can change if you've had blinkers on for a long time. So seeing the sights and having them taken off could have the reverse effects and sharpen him up.
Several Irish challengers here, and Jazz Messengers from Noel Meads. Slippers Madden on board, big day for him again today. But the others we must remember, Al, she loves it round here, or he does. Timmy Murphy on board, and Gaspara gets all the weight allowances from Martin Pipe. 10 stone 7 for the 4-year-old filly, and there she is nearest to us, the little 12-year-old. Now Martin Pipe watching, he never comes up here, he's with Chester Barnes there, never comes up, Carol behind, and David shading his eyes there.
I mean,
but
he never comes to the Saturday he comes up, doesn't he? Yeah.
He's very superstitious that way, and it's worked for him in the past. It looks, Skew, as if they are not going to hang around here.
No, you can see all the jockeys just eyeing the gate. The starter will be trying to keep them off the gate, but you can see them all edging towards it, Jim. I think this will be a fast and furious gallop.
I'm sure you're right there, Skew. And just watching Detroit City, what he's going to do. Richard Johnson here, the grey horse, just seeing where he wants to be as they come in. They jockey for positions or take up their position that they'd like to be in early. But I think they will go a really good gallop here. Now Detroit City a 13-8 favourite. Asian Maze at 4-1, last year's winner. And then at 13-2 Afsoon, 9-1 Jazz Messenger. They come in now, and they're off and running in the Aintree Hurdle. And Detroit City settling about 6th in the early stages. Asian Maze is right up there on the outside as they head towards the first now. Star Antique on the inside, the red cap as they head towards the first. El Hala is not that far away either. So it's Star Antique, the leader by a length or so, to in second Asian Maze as they head down the back. El Hala is up in a prominent position as well as they head to the second. And Detroit City just losing a bit of ground there, dropped back to second last. But Star Antique is the leader here by a length and a half. To Asian Maze in second. Kawajino pulling hard on the outside of Whispered Promises is up third. They're up third and fourth. In behind them is Afsoon, and Detroit City is tucked away on the inside. Strangely Brown is not that far away either on the outside from Jazz Messenger Gaspara. Detroit City about second last, and last is Arcalis as they race across the top of the track. And the leader, Star Antique, by a length or so to Asian Maze in second. 2 lengths away then, back in third place at this stage is Al Alla, the outside, followed by Kawajino and Whispered Promises. Strangely Brown is next on the near side from Jazz Messenger as they come to the third from Afsoon. Detroit City hit that very hard and has lost a little bit of ground, and Arcalis is back towards the rear. Afsoon also giving these leaders a start at the fourth. And stepping over at Star Antique from Asian Maze, last year's winner. They're 1 and 2 by a length and a half. To in third place Kawajino, then tucked away on the inside Whispered Promises. As they come now to the next, it'll be the last next time round, and the leader just landed a bit flat over that as they race up the straight on the first occasion. Star Antique is the leader, by now joined on the outside by the white cap of Asian Maze. 2 lengths further back is Kawajino. Very handy is Whispered Promises, followed then by Al Alla. A length further back then is Jazz Messenger, followed by Afsoon. Detroit City is fourth last at this stage from Arcalis Gaspara as they race past the stables now and head out with just under a circuit to go, and Strangely Brown has dropped back through the field to last. It's Asian Maze, though, who leads them down the back by 2 lengths. To in second place, Star Antique, who's been up there all the way. Al Alla is in third, followed then by Kawajino as they go over the sixth. They're followed next in the field by Jazz Messenger. Whispered Promises trying to get closer. And then Detroit City, who's still about 6 lengths off the pace, and Richard Johnson is scrubbing away. On his outside is Afsoon, and Arcalis towards the rear as they head to the seventh. Asian Maze is out in front here. Strangely Brown has gone right around them out very wide to go up and try and challenge here. Followed then by Al Alla, who's been there from the outset. Kawajino is just in behind them, and further back is Afsoon. That's Gaspara, who's gone around them into fourth and wrapped that very hard. Just as she'd made ground, now she starts to retreat. So it's on the near side, Asian Maze. Strangely Brown is up on the outer, matching strides. 2 lengths to Al Alla and Kawajino. Gaspara is flat to the boards at this stage, followed then by Afsoon, Arcalis. Detroit City doing nothing. Then Jazz Messenger, a gap to Whispered Promises, and Star Antique has dropped back to last as they race across the top. Asian Maze is really making this a staying test. Leads by a length and a half. To in second, Strangely Brown. Al Alla in third, followed by Kawajino and then Gaspara, who's under punishment. Further back in the field then is Kawajino. Then on the inside, Afsoon, as heads are turned for home now. Coming to the third last, Asian Maze the leader. From on the outside, Gaspara, who's joined in again, the filly. Gaspara takes it up. Asian Maze is gone. Here's Arcalis from the rear. Strange over on the far side, Al Alla, and Kawajino is next, followed by Afsoon. Over that one, and Al Alla led over it narrowly from Gaspara. Then back in third is Kawajino, and further back then is Arcalis, the outside from Afsoon. Coming towards the last now, Al Alla for Ireland on the far side, jumps it extravagantly. From in second, Gaspara. A long gap then to Arcalis, followed then by Afsoon and Kawajino. But Al Alla 4 lengths in front here, and turning back the clock, Al Alla recaptures form at his favourite Aintree. Al Alla goes on to win the Aintree hurdle by a couple of lengths. Gaspara again second. Third is Afsoon, followed then by Arcalis, Kawajino, Asian Maze, Strangely Brown. They were followed by Whispered Promises. Then Jazz Messenger. Detroit City, the last to finish, and it looks like Star Antique has pulled up. So the result of the Ballacabir Aintree hurdle: first is number 2, Al Alla, ridden by Timmy Murphy. Second is number 12 I should say, number 12, Gaspara, ridden by Tom Scudamore. Third, number 1, Afsoon, ridden by Mick Fitzgerald. And fourth, number 3, Arcalis, Paddy Brennan. That's the 1, 2, 3, 4. And Detroit City, never travelling at any stage. It was scrubbed up from a long way out. But there is the winning jockey, and that's Timmy Murphy. Distances a length and a half and 3.
Well, Alella is bred by Michael Ryan, and it was a fast and furious race when they kicked on down the backside. Little Gaspara with Tom Scudamore nearest to us, the 4-year-old with just 10-7 on her back. The winner coming up the inside, Asian Mays, previous winner of this, just starting weekend, but Alella won here as a 4-year-old, won this race in 2:05, and ran in the race, but was only 6 to Asian Mays last year.
Yeah, fantastic race. They've gone a good gallop, and I thought Gaspara was going to win here, but it just didn't help her chances the way she jumped this. She's not very big, and the speed these senior horses are going just makes it more difficult for her. But a terrific ride from Timmy Murphy. We saw him yesterday. He was hurt, but he's got up off the floor, and despite his pulled ligaments in his shoulder, he's given this a typical Timmy Murphy classical ride, and all credit to all connections for bringing this horse back to win at this course. John Quealy, the trainer. I thought the ground would be too fast for him.
Yep, Arcalis nearest to us, coming back to some sort of form here. Paddy Brennan on board. Afsoon in the middle there, but going back to the winner now. Isn't it even better when you've bred a horse? Michael Ryan's bred this horse, owns it. It's now won 3 times, Alella here. John Quealy trains the horse, but a good run from the little mare, Gaspara, back there in second place. And Timmy Murphy, Mr. Corcat. Hey, there's some celebrations here. I don't know which is Michael Ryan amongst that one,
okay.
but...
Do you want the owner?
I'd say he's the fella who's getting all the hugs in the blue shirt there. Well, Brian is with the winning jockey, so let's go that way.
Yes, Michael Ryan, owner, of course. This horse trained in my hometown in Dungarvan and County Waterford in Southern Ireland. Timmy Murphy, well done. This guy loves Aintree.
Oh, he does. He's fantastic, you know, and a lot of credit goes to John because he hasn't been right, you know, and he had the guts to just to lay off him. I rode him in Leopardstown, and you know, he was telling us that he just wasn't right, and he gave him one more run, and he forgot about him then, and he's back today at 110%.
Talk us through the race, because you always seemed happy.
Yeah. Oh no, he said just pop him out handy because you know he's been a bit ring rusty really, because you know obviously he hasn't been right, and he hasn't finished the race all season. And he said just pop him out handy and keep him interested. And to be fair, John knows the horse inside out, and he's been right 99% of the time with his instructions. So I mean,
this horse will get some reception.
He will. I mean, you know, it'll be up to the Liverpool crowd to lie up with the Waterford singers here today.
Best of luck, Timmy. Well done, Alella.
Well, the celebrations are still going on down here. Here's the owner, Michael Ryan. All his friends are here as well. That's the 3rd time he's won at Aintree. 2nd time he's won this race.
2nd time he won this race. He won it 2 years ago, and then last year he got hurt in the race with his shoulder, and then he's had a lot of problems with mucus the last few months. I just got cleared up now in time and got back and won very impressively.
Now, looking at your celebrations, it would suggest that you and everybody else backed him today.
Everyone backed him today. They did, in fairness. Yes. We got a good price. So we got him back this morning, 18s, 10s, 14s, 16s. So we had a good plenty of money for celebration anyway.
So you might be going out in Liverpool tonight or going back home?
Oh, back home tonight. Oh, yeah.
John Quealy is also here, the winning trainer. Congratulations. He looks so well. You must be thrilled to see him bounce back to form then.
Thanks, Claire. Yeah, we had a horrendous winter with him, you know. Just nothing went right, you know. And it's just great to get him back, you know. I've always believed in him, you know.
He was given a lovely quiet ride by Timmy.
We rode him a bit more positively today. You know, he's mature now and he's grown up. You know, he's not a baby anymore. You know.
Well, listen, go and enjoy it. He's about to come into the winner's enclosure. Many congratulations. That's the Alella team.
And ridden by Timmy Murphy, who's really bounced back to form here today. He has his 11th ride in the Grand National when he partners Celtic's son later on today. So Al Alla, the winner of the Aintree Hurdle. Let's check the full SPs now.
And Al Ella was supported only by really those in Ireland at 12-1. A great result down in the ring list. Gaspara, number 12, ran a solid each way at 11-1, and Afsoon finished 3rd at 13-2. So Al Ella wins at 12-1, and don't forget, of course, it's just over an hour and 10 minutes away before the big one, the Grand National.
And Timmy Murphy will be on board Celtic Sun, one of David Pipe's 2 runners. Paul Nicholls has had a winner already today, Twist Magic in the second. And after some titanic struggles over the years with Martin Pipe, last season Nicholls was crowned champion trainer and looks set to do the same again this time. But he certainly hasn't had a lot of luck here as far as the national is concerned, because he's started 32 runners, but just 6 have finished. Well, at least he can console himself with being the champion trainer and one of the best views in the country.
With a view like this across the whole of the Blackmore Vale, you could just stand here all day and look. But that would be folly. And there's only room for one of those here at Ditchyat in Somerset, a place that used to be a huge dairy farm but was transformed in 1991 into what is now the most successful jump training yard in the country. It's the base of Paul Nicholls, who last season became champion trainer for the first time, and this year has gone even better, helped in part by a superstar called Cato Star, who capped an unbeaten season by winning the Cheltenham Gold Cup. And Nicholls has a star of the future with another potential Gold Cup winner in Denman. They say in sport that the hardest thing is not getting to the top, it's staying there. Did you feel any pressure at all at the start of this season defending a championship, having become champion trainer for the first time?
Yeah, you always do. And we had a very slow start because we don't have too many in the summer. And I think on the 1st of October last year we'd only had 5 or 6 winners and we're way behind everybody. But it didn't take too long to bridge that gap and then start flying. And you know, the horses have been in such good form from the start. It turned out to be quite easy in the end.
Do you set yourself targets at all?
No, I mean you don't. But you know, I've already got in my mind where I've targeted those horses for next year. So you're working towards those goals, but you just got to be, you know, with horses things can change from day to day.
And there's one sort of gap, I suppose. Finished second.
Yeah. Exactly.
But you haven't won yet the Grand National.
No, obviously it'd be very nice to win the National, but it hasn't been, you know, too lucky for us. As you said, Royal Leclerc finished second, and we've had a few finish, but most of the time we end up running around chasing loose horses afterwards. But that's the nature of the race, really, and hopefully one day it will happen.
Just talk us through the main contenders for you.
It's a Royal Leclerc. He looks in really good order, actually, for him, the Chestnut. He's a bit unlucky last year to fall at the first, but I think he might have learnt from that. He's been around that cross-country course twice. He's won and jumped really well. He's been schooling quite a bit at home. But the great thing with him is he loves good ground, so hopefully the ground will be right for him.
And looking at all your runners, this is the one that looks to have been prepared specifically with the Grand National in mind. This is Eurotrack.
Yeah, he won the Beecher Chase with top weight back in November, and you know, because he is fragile and it hasn't been easy to train, we thought we'd just keep him fresh and not run him beforehand, and that's why he's not had any problems since then. You know, he's had good form. He won a Ryanair Chase 2 years ago and he's run well this year, really, but I'm convinced he wants a trip now, and so you know, if the ground's decent, he could run okay, because he's got that bit of class.
What do you think over the last few years you have learned as a trainer? Do you feel that you're more relaxed about it now?
Yeah, I probably am. One thing in this game, even now, you never stop learning about things, different things you can do with different horses. They're all individuals, have to treat them all as individuals and try different things, but you never stop learning.
When you get the time to switch off, how do you relax?
No, that is a good question. You know, I don't find there's that much time to relax now. It's pretty well a 24/7 job, really, keeping everybody in touch, and now looking forward to next season with horses to sell, try and find some new ones. That whole part of my life is involved in what it is, runs completely around running this business and being successful, and everybody has to knows that comes first. I wouldn't swap it for anything.
I wonder if his luck will change. He has 4 runners in the National. Now, this is one of the events where professionals and amateurs compete side by side, and here are 2 people who will basically do it for nothing. Sam Whaley-Cohen's going the first National today. Marcus Armitage, winner on Miss Caprice back in 1990. First of all, Sam, enjoying it?
Yeah, I can't wait. It's been a long way to get here, and now just desperate to go out there and have some fun.
Now, Marcus, what do you remember of 1990? It was firm ground that year, wasn't it?
Yeah, very fast, and probably only had 4 or 5 horses in front of me the whole way. Never saw any more.
Talk us through it. What do you remember of it?
Well, I remember from the last, the other horse's head coming to about my leg, and not hitting the horse till we got to the elbow. And I think he'd been in front a long time, and he was happy to have a bit of company by that stage. So.
Of course, that's a record that still stands.
Yeah, I mean, now that they water the course, I'd be surprised if they get anywhere near it, because it was rock hard that year.
I've got to say, been very noisy here behind you, but you've experienced that, haven't you, with Libertine and with Katerina?
Yeah, it's all part of the atmosphere here, and they enjoy a good day out, and that's what it's about up here, you know. It's about having fun, and I mean, Liverpudlian atmosphere, there's no way of replicating it.
Now, what about Libertine? Because we thought maybe she was in foal, but she's not. Is that going to affect her run at all?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if she'd been in foal, that might have been an advantage. There's sort of quite a lot of evidence to suggest that if a horse is in foal, they can find better improvement in their form. The fact that she's not in foal shouldn't actually be detrimental in any way.
Because it is your first national, but you've got such a great record over these big fences. You love it.
Yeah, it's great. And what's more important is that it's with this horse as well. I rode Libertine here in the Topham when she won last year, and she loves it. The year before, she actually had a bad run where every horse sort of fell in front of her and tried to trip her up, and she showed she was tough and brave enough to handle those conditions when she came back and won last year. So I think she'll go very, very well today.
Any superstitions? I know the family often have a few.
It's all about wearing the same clothes as the other times. I kept the same breeches as last year. They've been sitting in my bag for the last sort of 12 months and pulled them out. So.
And I know it means a lot as well, because you lost your brother Thomas from cancer, and I think you have his initials engraved, don't you, in the saddle?
Yeah, it's a real family occasion for us, and I think actually on days like today we really we miss him sort of all the more poignantly. But
he would want you to be out there, wouldn't he?
He would be here ribbing me and probably backed me with his shirt and everything else. So in a way, it feels like his spirit's here with us anyway.
What advice would you give to him, Marcus?
I don't know. He's won 3 races round there, so there's not much advice other than enjoy yourself and pray.
Thanks.
And what's your plan over the next hour or so?
Just go and relax. You know, a lot of these horses sort of have a sixth sense for the thing. You know, with a filly, they can sometimes get quite sort of het up. So I just really want to relax and make her relax and make her enjoy the occasion as much as anything.
We'll certainly wish you well. I think we better join in the sing-song.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
And here are the celebrations for the owners of Al Ella, Michael Ryan in the middle there and Timmy Murphy, and they will have big celebrations. I don't think it matters to them what happens in the Grand National. They've had their moment of glory. Now I'm standing just outside the jockey's room, and I want to show you something, because in there is Willie Mullins giving instructions to his 4 jockeys who are going to ride for him in the Grand National. Ruby Walsh there on the right, and on the left is David Casey, Davy Russell there as well, and David Condon too. We're going to try and talk to Ruby and in just a second, but Norman, they look pretty intense in there.
Yeah, they're very intense, Claire, and it's a very, very important time. Willie will have different instructions for all of them, and you know, it's interesting to see it, isn't it? Even someone of Ruby Walsh's calibre, he's won a national and hedge hunter, and he's getting his instructions, you know. But I think they've got good chances. David Casey's a good chance on Bohernah, and Livingstone Bramble, he should jump well.
Well, another jockey who has won the race like Ruby is Paul Carberry, and he's going to be on board Dundera. Brian Gleeson went to catch up with the progress of this one.
Dundera is the Irish for Dundee, where we are here, and we're all looking forward next Saturday week, of course, and hopefully he'll come out on top.
Ruby Walsh steered Dundera to an impressive win at the Cheltenham Festival last year. Since then, there's only been 1 race and 1 place on the minds of trainer Tony Martin and the 8-strong syndicate of friends from Dundee in County Meath.
Yeah, that evening in Cheltenham, after when we were celebrating the win, Tony turned around and said, lads, I think that we have an Aintree national horse here. So since then, the plan has been Aintree. We took in the Irish national last year because he was in such good form after Cheltenham, and he ran reasonably well, finished 6th in it. But all year, the whole campaign, the lads in Tony's yard, Frogger, Claire, Nicky, Kevin, great lads. Like, they look after Dundee, I'd say better than look after themselves. And hopefully then they'll have him spot on the day.
You know, from day one we always knew he was a slow horse, and the deeper the ground the better chance he'd have. He was never a horse with much speed, so he's always going to be a staying horse.
The ground is drying all the time. Is ground going to be very important to this horse?
It would be. The slower the ground the better it'd be, because you know, he wouldn't be on his head, but on the fast ground you'd be hoping that over 4 miles they won't go too fast.
As they come up now towards the chair.
Of course, he's been to Aintree in November and it didn't go according to plan.
King's Glen is down, Dundera is down, there's a real pile up there.
There's a bit of mayhem in front of him. One of Tom's half horse actually was stuck in the chair getting up, and when Dundera jumped the fences, head landed on your man's quarters, and unfortunately that knocked him over, you know. But he did, he was over the fence and all, he was just on landing that he was knocked over.
You have Paul Carberry riding the horse. His dad rode a Grand National winner. His dad, Tommy Carberry, trained a Grand National winner. You know, we're rich, we're gold in Grand National history here.
Yeah, we're hoping to emulate some of them now next week. And we really think this is the horse to do it. The bookies seem to agree. He's favourite at the moment. So with Tony training him, Paul riding him and doing their own good form, I can't see why not.
There'll be a lot of traffic problems, and also he has to negotiate the fence himself. But you know, if he's able to avoid fallers, and most important thing, if he gets a bit of good luck and jumps well, touch wood, he would be making his way into it going out there the second time, and hopefully Paul can take it from there. And be great, as I say, if he could be in the shake-up.
There's people going to Aintree that haven't been on an aeroplane before, and even the local vicar now is setting off on the bike. He said it'll take him 8 to 9 days to get there, so he's heading off now.
We're heading to Rosslare to the boat.
With tactics like that, I think he should be riding in the race, but Paul Carberry will be the one on board Dundera. Big chance, but the ground drying out isn't necessarily in his favour. Well, when you win a Grand National like Carberry, you become a national hero at home as well in Ireland, and Ruby Walsh has managed to do it twice. Can you walk down any street of any village in Ireland?
You can, yeah. All they want to know is what's going to win. They don't really care what farm you're in. I mean, it's great to win a national. It's unbelievable to have won too.
Now, what about Hedge Hunter this year? On paper, it looked like you had a huge choice of horses. Willie Mullins got 4 runners, Paul Nicholls has got 4, your dad's got 1 in there as well. Did you have a choice?
Yeah, I usually can't pick the right one. There's only 2, let alone when there's 9. So I just went with the one that was going to be first up, and that was, from this day last year, going to be Hedge Hunter. So that narrowed it down pretty quick for me.
And the one thing you can almost count on is that he will give you a safe conveyance.
Well, I don't know. Aldenedy came back here and fell at the first. Very luckily I was second. Hedge Hunter fell at the first last year. I don't think there's any horse you can guarantee is going to get around, but seems to have a good record, and he's definitely one I'm going to look forward to riding.
Now, one of the ones that probably was difficult to turn down was the horse that David Casey here is going to ride, Boanar, also trained by Willie Mullins. You would have a big chance, would you not?
Well, sure, hopefully, Claire. He ran well in the Fox Hunters last year, you know, and he seems to have improved since. He won a nice handicap there in the summer in Ireland, you know, so hopefully he's improved enough to run a good race today.
And what he is clever, because he can avoid horses on the ground as well, can't he?
Well, he had to duck one last year, you know, so hopefully, I hope we don't get into the same situation where we have to do it again today, but he looked pretty clever last year, so hopefully he give me a good safe ride.
So you'd advise people watching at home just have a few quid each way?
Yeah, I'm hoping he puts up a good performance and he's in good form. I just hope they haven't put too much water on now, you know, he does like it dry. They've done a great job all week, so hopefully there's not too much water on it for me.
OK, enjoy yourself, best of luck, thanks.
Thanks very much, Claire, super.
Well, just about an hour to go. If you're still undecided where to put your money, well, let's put our racing experts on the spot. So, Brian, who's your selection and why?
Well, it's the Grand National, so I'm going to pick 2. I'm going to stick with last year's winner, number 6 Valverde, and I'm going to go with Pint Barrow. They're my 2 against the field.
OK, because of the ground, because of everything?
Yeah, I think both horses have had great preparations. Their trainers are quietly confident, and they're respectable prices. What do you like?
I think I'm going to go for Billy Bob. I saw it a week ago and I'm going to stick with it, because if I change my mind and it comes in, I'll never forgive myself. So that's...
And you've also backed Hedge Hunter quietly.
I've got a Hedge Hunter in the sweep, so I've got 2 great horses, haven't I? Do you fancy Billy Bob?
I do fancy Billy Bob. Good trainer Henry Daly, and of course Trevor Hemmings. 3 horses in the race.
OK, well, I've made a good choice by the sound of it. But Jim McGrath, you've had a lot of success in the race in past years. So Jim, who's your tip this time?
Well, this time, Sue, I should say, I'm going for Boanar. David Casey taking the ride. He'll like this dry ground, and also the fact that he's run here in the Fox Hunters and run so well. He actually sidestepped a horse remarkably. The horse fell in front of him. He went to one side, he kept going, and he finished a good 4th that day. He's a horse that I've been following for a long time, and he's also the winner of a Kerry National. Point Barrow, the Irish National winner, I think will be chasing him home.
I actually fancy Point Barrow myself, and I'm hoping that it can repeat the great success of Irish Nationals horse in the race. I'll be cheering on my good friend Alan Housel's horse Longshanks, and I think it'll run well, but Point Barrow is my selection to come home and win the National.
Well, the ship's going down together because I'm rowing in with you, Angus. I'm a Point Barrow fan. Irish National Win's got great record in this race. Hedge Hunter and number 6 Valverde, they're sure to run well as well.
Well, they say jockeys are the worst tipsters. What about the ex-jockeys? I'm actually going for the 4th in the Gold Cup, Munker Hostin from Philip Hobbs Yard. I have actually backed McKelvey at long odds, and Billy Vodden keeps winking at me.
Poor old Billy Vodden. I think Point Barrow has a great chance. And the English horse, Simon, for the English, I think will run a big race because Mercy's got a great record in the race. I saw him and he looked very well. But Point Barrow to beat Simon.
Stormy?
Yeah, same as Jim McGrath. I'm going for Beauharnais. I think he's got a great chance. Billy Vodden has a chance, good form, but Beauharnais for me, and he's 25 to 1.
Good.
And I think my selection is going to be, after deep consideration, Joe's Edge. I know he's near enough favourite or joint favourite at the moment, but he's going to love this ground. And Graham Lee, really, when he said he had a gut feeling on the morning of Amberley House that he would win. And I said, what's the gut feeling today? And he paused and he said, he's got a serious chance. Ballycassidy each way.
OK, so we've got the selections, and it's quite a variety of them, in fact. Let's take a look at where they've all put their money, and well, you can make your choice who you want to follow. So there we are. Those are the selections from the team. So choose whichever one you want to follow.
Okay.
Well, I mentioned I'd gone for Joe's Edge to win. Ballycassidy each way. Now, Ballycassidy is trained by Peter Byrne. He and his wife Karen here. He had a great day yesterday. You were getting an enormous hug, weren't you, after winning the Topham?
Yeah, that was my brother. We were getting a bit excited.
So the horses are in form. Now, Ballycassidy, first of all, he was jumping so well last year. He eventually came down at Valentine's, but God, he was loving it.
He was. Probably apply the same tactics again today, try and jump him off in front because he loves it in front, you know. And he seems to be coming back to form now. Been wrong all season, really, but seems to be back in great form now, anyway.
He suffered from concussion when he had that fall, did he not?
Yeah, he did, but I don't think he remembered anything about it because 3 weeks later he came out and won a good race at Perth, so I think he forgot all about that.
Like a good boxer, he could get up again from the deck and take a few more punches. He's fantastic. What about McKelvey? Tell me about him.
He's in tremendous form. He won 3 weeks ago, ran Bangor over hurdles just as a prep race, and jumped well round here when he was 6 in the Beaches, and so I think he's got a really good chance.
So you're feeling confident, you're enjoying the day so far?
Yeah.
You'll enjoy it even more if you win this race here and then go on to win the National. That would be incredible.
That would be the right thing to do, win the National, I suppose, wouldn't it?
Last Welsh trained National winner was 1905. Let's hope 2007 is the next for you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now the race coming up. Let's have a look at it. The 3-miler. It's the extra cold handicap hurdle, sponsored by John Smith's. Jumping 13 flights in all, and just over 2 complete circuits. One last year by Refinement, and she's in the field again today. These are the runners and riders. Lord Sam is James White, Irish Wolf Tom O'Brien, Overstrand Mr Tom Weston, Refinement Tony McCoy, Varazi is Jamie Moore, Mr Nora Tony Evans, Mahogany Blaze, Paddy Brennan, Valley Ride, Tom Doyle, Oscar Tello, Richard Johnson, Gadam is Phil Kinsella, Arctic Echo, Dougie Costello, Penny Pictures, Tom Scudamore, Opera de Coeur, Mark Bradburn, Freetown is Brian Harding, Mac Federal, Jamie Goldstein, Living on a Knife Edge is Wayne Hutchinson, Lies Green, Leighton Aspel, Fast Affaran is Peter Buchanan, Joxer, the mount of Wayne Kavanagh, Just Beth is Derek Lafferty, Alberta's Run in the Trevor Hemmings colours, Noel Feely, and Takeout number 22, Hills of Arran. So 21 to go in this 3-miler, and here is the betting with Angus.
This is a fascinating betting heat, but Alberta's Run, the 4-1 favourite, but the significant move, and it seems to be a very big one, is for this Refinement. I've seen 25 to 1 this horse, opened up at 20s and has been bagged at all rates and is now a very solid 10 to 1 chance. A really interesting move for this Refinement, and it's definitely the biggest move that has come here on the track all day, and that includes a bet of £16,000 for Detroit City in the last race at 15 to 8. So Alberta's Run is a good solid favourite. If you fancy it, I couldn't put you off it. It's very, very warm indeed. Opera de Coeur is 15-2 and third favourite from Oscatello at 7s. But the story of this race is this move for refinement at 10-1. Alberta's Run is the 9-2 favourite.
Fascinating. Let's have a look at the favourite now. Noel Feely rides this one, affectionately known as Touchy Feely. And Alberta's Run, the only thing I'd say, Norman, is the form has been on heavy ground or softer ground.
Yeah, I think he might get away with this ground. I actually spoke to Mick Fitzgerald, an interesting pointer on the ground today. He said it's absolutely beautiful and it's not drying out. They've put so much water on. He said it's on the easy side of good. So I think this horse will cope with it. He deserves to be favourite. He's only got 10 stone 4 on his back. Noel Feely already had a winner this week, and I think he's got a great chance.
Now the big gamble, of course, has been refinement number 4. Now, this mare is bred by Michael Tabor, of course, well known for his flat exploits, but she'd seemed to have gone off the boil a little bit, Skew.
Yes, but we've seen horses already this afternoon. They won round here last year and they seem to come back to form round here. She's been a tremendously good mare. I think she was ridden by Kieran Fallon in the Cheltenham Bumper. She isn't always the best of jumpers, but she's a highly talented individual. But she's just high enough in the weight with 11 stone 10 on the back.
I'd agree with you, Skew. She's high enough in the weight. She's not very big, and she ran bad last time. But interesting, there's money for her.
Talking of AP, an awful lot of people texting and emailing in with support for him on Lammy. Emma from Scarborough says, I'm watching the National from my bed because I'm not feeling well, but if AP wins the National, I know I will feel better. And one here from Jessica who says, it's a fantastic day. My partner Andy Pearce is glued to the TV. Can you ask him to marry me? I love him. Andy Pearce, Jessica would like you to marry her. And if you hear Laura from Newcastle says, I'm going to back Joe's Edge in memory of my Uncle Joe who died last month because he was an avid horse racing fan. As the horses circle around there at the start, just a quick chance to ask a few people here, what are you tipping for the National, what are you backing?
Bother. My wife says Bewley's
Berry.
That'll win.
Okay.
Point Barrow, Clark.
Point Barrow. Edge Hunter.
You don't know yet? Haven't decided?
Joe's Edge.
Yep. Well, they are in the perfect position because they are here. They're going to see the horses walk around the paddock when we get to the big race itself. But one more to go before then.
3 miles it takes them getting faster. Farron, now Skew, you know all about this one.
Yeah, this is was beaten by Chief Dan George at Wetherby. He's a lovely horse by Zaffron. Chief Dan George came out and won yesterday. If that form stands up, then this has an outstanding chance at 16-1.
Has his head very high up there at the trot?
He's got to take tongue tie on. He's just arguing with that a little bit at the moment. I think that once he gets racing, he'll drop his head.
Cinder Russell training this one up in Scotland. Right, well, what about the grey horse here? They're not very big, Norman.
No, you can't actually see him in the middle there.
Lies Green, Oliver Sherwood trains this one. Leighton Aspel on board. Does look small. It's won a couple of races, this. And up to 3 miles. Now, this is an easy 3 miles if ever there's such a thing.
Beat by McKelvey last time round Bangor. That would be good enough form. They fancy McKelvey for the Grand National, just whether he's good enough today.
An each way price.
Well, it's 9-2. The favourite Alberta's Run, 13-2 Oscatello, 15-2 Opera de Coeur, 9's Refinement from the 25-1 opening price. Jim, this has got smacks of a real old-fashioned coup.
It does indeed, and with last year's victory to her credit, she's got to go well. So they're coming in now, and they're off and running, setting off over this 3-mile trip and jumping 13 flights in all, and down near the inside, Irish Wolf is the first one to show. Up there too is Lord Sam with a green cap on the outside as they clear the first. Then on the outside in third follows Fast Affaran, and in behind them is Just Beth. Alberta's Run, the favourite, gets a very good berth on the inside, saving every inch from there. Just preceded though by Freetown and also Valley Ride, living on a knife edge is there as well. Overstranders further back in the field, followed then by Mac Federal, who's right there in the centre in that quartered jacket. On his outside is Lies Green, and then Mahogany Blaze. Gadam is back in the field, and right there in the centre is Refinement. They're followed by Varazi and Opera de Coeur. Out wider then is Joxer, followed by Mr. Nora, Oscatello. Right out the back is Penny Pictures, and settling at the rear is Arctic Echo. Over the second, And the leaders jump it well. They're all over safely. And the leader is Fast Affaran by 2 lengths to in second place on the inside. Arctic Wolf, or Irish Wolf I should say. Then up in third is Valley Ride, followed by Living on a Knife Edge. Just behind them in the early stages is Lord Sam, followed then by Just Beth, who's right there in the centre. Tucked away behind them at this stage follows the favourite Alberta's Run, and Overstrand is a little bit wider out. Freetown is right there in the centre as well, and they're followed by Refinement as the leaders pop over the fourth. Further back is Jockey, who's right there in the centre field in the corded colours with the light blue sleeves and cap. Penny Pictures is right out the back in the early stages. Oscatello has been shuffled back a couple of places and still last at this stage as they head past around that turn is Arctic Echo. So they race across the top on the first occasion, and Fast Affaran it is who shows the way to Valley Ride, who's up there, and Living on a Knife Edge has gone very close now into second. Irish Wolf has tucked away in fourth, followed by Overstrand, and further back is Freetown, followed on the inside by Lord Sam, that distinctive green cap in the orange and yellow diamond colours as they swing into the straight. Alberta's Run has saved every inch of ground. The grey is Lies Green out wider, so the leader jumps the fifth quite extravagantly. Gadam was back in the field. Lord Sam just getting a reminder there. Over on the rail is Mahogany Blaze as they come to the seventh, followed then by Opera de Coeur, and further back in the field Penny Pictures, followed by Just Beth, who's making ground out wider. Varese is back in the field as well, followed then by Mac Federal, who's there with Penny Pictures as they head over the one that'll be the last next time round. Oscatello is well back. Refinement, the plunge horse, is about third last, still weighted with on the inside, and being scrubbed up as they come to the judge is Arctic Echo. A circuit to go, and Fast Affaran on the inside of Living on a Knife Edge. 2 lengths away, Gadam. Half a length in on the outside is Overstrand, followed in the centre next by Valley Ride, who's there in the light jacket. Irish Wolf on the inside is next, followed then by Overstrand and Alberta's Run. In the centre follows Lies Green and also Freetown from Just Beth. Mahogany Blaze and then Opera de Coeur there from Penny Pictures out wider. And back in the field at this stage is Jockey from Oscatello as they come to 6 out. Lord Sam has lost ground. Varese is next. Refinement's got about 10 lengths to make up, but still with plenty to give. And a check there to Mahogany Blaze, who dropped back very sharply onto Mr. Nora, just slightly hampering that horse, preceded by Mac Federal, and still last is Arctic Echo. Coming now to 5 out, and it's Living on a Knife Edge is the one there in the orange jacket. Lies Green is the grey, moving up with Gadam, and just behind them is Valley Ride, followed by Irish Wolf, who's travelling well on the inside, has saved every inch of ground, and coming into it now is Alberta's Run on the outside, the white sleeves and cap, the Trevor Hemmings colours. So with as they race across the top, a long run before they reach 3 out. Living on a Knife Edge is just the leader here from Lies Green. Then in third is Irish Wolf, tucked away on the inside. Coming into it is Alberta's Run now, followed then by Valley Ride and Overstrand and Oscatello. Opera de Coeur behind them, followed by Mahogany Blaze. Further back in the field, Refinement is coming there on the outside very strongly. The plunge horse now has come from near last and is looming up about 5 lengths off the pace as they round the turn now, and they've got 3 left to jump. Lies Green on the far side is the leader into the straight from Oscatello, and also there is Alberta's Run. Here's Refinement though on the near side, who's been backed from 20s to 10s as they clear 3 out. Refinement hit it hard. Overstrand is down, and so too is Living on a Knife Edge has been brought down as they come to the second last now. Lies Green on the far side. Near side is Alberta's Run. They clear it together. Clear of Oscatello. Refinement hasn't found a great deal now. They've got 1 left to jump, and it's the Trevor Hemmings owned Alberta's Run. Is sprinted 3 lengths in front of Lies Green. Coming to the last now, jumps it well. In third is Irish Wolf. Refinement called on for another effort by McCoy. Then Penny Pictures and Oscatello. The leader's starting to paddle. It's Alberta's Run in front. Lies Green, and right down the outside, Refinement. She's trying hard, but punched right out. Alberta's Run runner's got to get there. Outstays them. Half a length to Lies Green. Refinement almost got going again, but has to be content with third. Then in fourth, Penny Pictures. Followed then by Irish Wolf, and behind them is Joxer, and further back Mr. Nora. Then Mahogany Blaze. Then further back is Gadam. The stragglers are Varazi. Also Valley Ride. They were the last two over the line. So it's a 1-3 for trainer John Joe O'Neill, and Alberta's run in the Trevor Hemmings colours has succeeded. He's got the money here for Noel Feely. Second, number 17, Lies Green, Leighton Aspel. Third is number 4, a Refinement, Tony McCoy. And fourth, number 12, Penny Pictures, Tom Scudamore. That's the 1, 2, 3, 4 in this John Smith's. And there's Overstrand's rider just getting into the Mr. Tom Weston just getting into the ambulance there. He seems to be okay. Alberta's run the 9-2 favourite. 10-1 Lies Green. Refinement, who'd been back from 20s into 9-1, and Penny Pictures at 40s.
Quite amazing, isn't it, that John Joe O'Neill, who had the plunge horse here in Refinement, wins it with the favourite Alberta's run. Noel Feely doing 10 stone 4. I suppose, McCoy wouldn't want to do that just before the Grand National. And the grey has given, if you can, a big boost for McKelvey, who runs in the National.
That's right, it just shows you what good form that was, Rambanga. There's a horrible pile-up behind, but hopefully they're all okay getting up there. But concentrating on the front here now. Got Noel Feely, who's already ridden a winner at the meeting, given this horse a terrific ride. Norman just halfway up the running, it looked as if he'd been in front long enough and was just beginning to pull up a little bit and allowed the challengers to get to him.
He was skewed. He took it up at the second last. This him at the final flight, jumps it quick and well, but it's a long way from the last hurdle to the line, and he just begins to look at the crowd and just pull up a little. Lies Green, the grey horse in the middle, tries really hard, and of course McCoy, you don't have to give him too many bites of the cherry. He's on the outside and he's really got Refinement running, but the horse in front just pricking his ears. Alberta's run a little, and I think the 10 stone 4 did it for him. He's going to be a nice chaser in the future, but a cracking race, and the gamble nearly came off.
The second only had 10 stone 6, Little Grey, Lies Green for Oliver Sure. There's Trevor Hemmings, absolutely great supporter of the game.
Yeah, just going back to his horse Alberta's run, he's a very well bred horse. I know two of his brothers, Mr. Morose, he went and won a Scottish champion hurdle, and he had a decent horse called the Proms, who was another half brother.
Noel Feely, many congratulations. This is a tough customer.
Very tough, a lovely horse. John Joe's done a super job with this lad. He's gone on improving, he's standing down quite well, and he's improved again. He's won nicely here.
He's won his last 3 races and he's an upward curve.
Yeah, he'll make a lovely chaser as well, hopefully. He's very tough.
What's the ground like?
Beautiful ground. Probably slightly on the slow side of good, but it's perfect ground.
You're riding an outside of Naunton Brook in the National. If you had a choice, what would you like to steer?
Hopefully the horse I'm on will give me a good spin. I think it's very open this year. I think it's wide open. I think anything could win.
Thanks, Noel.
Certainly a help from Noel Feely. I can tell you that the money is coming for Point Barrow, and Paddy Power shortened it to even money to be the favourite for the Grand National. Well, it's another favourite who's won here. Alberta's run well back, 9-2 favourite. Lies Green for his second at 10-1. Refinement third at 9-1. And if you were on each way Penny Pictures, you will get placed. That's fourth at 40-1. Alberta's run well fancied and a winning favourite, the second winning favourite of the day.
But now the wait is over, the moment has arrived, and we can start our final build-up to the 2007 John Smith's Grand National. one of the great days in sport. Over 70,000 people are here at Aintree to watch the race live on the course. Over £250 million will be bet on the race today, and over 600 million people will watch it worldwide on television, probably on the edge of their seats. Well, first of all, let's introduce you to the 40 brave horses and riders who will be taking part in this year's National with Jim.
Number 1 is Hedge Hunter. Is he the modern-day Red Rum? He was second last year. He won the race in 2004, and it's his 4th run in the Grand National. Number 2 is Euro Trek. He won the Beecher Chase here over the big national fences in November last year, and he's ridden today by Liam Hurd. Number 3, Lamy. Second to Cato Star in the big race at Newbury in February, and he's a 12th ride for Tony McCoy, who's still looking for his first win in the big race. Number 4 is Monka Hostin, a real good horse, trained by Philip Hobbs, who was second in a King George, and he ran 4th in the Gold Cup last time. Number 5 is This, That and T'other, a rank outsider, and he's a last-minute ride for Jamie Moore, who's having his 3rd ride in the Grand National. Number 6, Billy Vodden, quietly fancied by his stable, and he's a 5th Grand National ride for Leighton Aspel. He's trained by Henry Daly. Number 7, number 6, Valverde. Well, you might remember this fella. He won last year, and he's been reasonably treated by the handicapper this year. Slippers Madden, his rider, has the perfect Grand National record, 1 out of 1. Number 8 is Idle Talk. He was bought for the Grand National by his owner Trevor Hemmings only a few weeks ago, and he's a first runner in the race for Donald McCain. 9 is Royal Eau Claire. He was second in the 2005 Grand National, and it's his 3rd Grand National run. Joe Tizard in the saddle. Number 10, Cloudy Bays, one of 10 Irish-trained runners. He's prepared by Charles Burns, and he's ridden by Andrew McNamara. 11, Nowhere. He's a novice. He's unknown over the trip, but he was second to a good horse and exotic dancer at Cheltenham last year. Number 12, Kalami. Well, he was brought down at the first fence in the 2004 Grand National. How unlucky is that? Down to number 13, Point Barrow. He's the many people's idea of the likely winner here, an Irish Grand National winner, and he's had a perfect preparation. Philip Carberry in the saddle. 14 is Celtic Sun, an outsider who's shown little of late, but he's one of the first runners in the race for David Pike. 15 is Simon, a Racing Post Chase winner and owned by Mercy Rymel, whose husband Fred trained 4 Grand National winners. Number 16 is Ballycassidy, 3rd run in the Grand National. Hasn't got around yet, but is it a case of 3rd time lucky? Number 17 is Clan Royal, his 4th Grand National run. He was second in 2004 and 3rd in 2006, carried out in 2005. 18 is Gallant Approach, one of 2 runners in the race, trained by Charles Edgerton. He's a very gutsy type, and Jimmy McCarthy rides. Number 19, Livingston Bramble. He's never won beyond 2.5 miles. It's 4.5 miles today, and that's why he's 100 to 1. Number 20, Dundera. Trained in Ireland by Tony Martin. He's a long-time fancy for the Grand National with many punters, and he's ridden by Paul Carberry. Number 21 is Kanjar Delier, trained by Alan King, and a good honest stayer, and he's one of the greys in the race. 22 is Slim Pickings, trained in Ireland by Tom Taff and ridden by Barry Geraghty, who you remember won this race on Monty's Past. 23 is Benz. He's much travelled. He's won in Australia, America and in Britain, and he's ridden this afternoon by Barry Fenton. 24 is Bewley's Berry, trained by Howard Johnson, and a 2nd ride in the race for jockey Paddy Brennan. Number 25, Longshanks. Kim Bailey's the trainer of this one. He prepared Mr. Frisk to win 17 years ago. What a comeback this would be to the big stage. 26 is Boanar. This horse a good 4th in the Fox Hunters last year over the national fences, training well, and David Casey aboard. 27 is Graphic Approach, another one trained by Charlie Edgerton and owned by Mr. and Mrs. Peter Orton. Great to see their colours going around. 28 is Homer Wells, one of 4 runners in the race for Willie Mullins. Davy Condon is aboard this one, and it's a first ride in the big race for him. 29 is Libertine, and Sam Whaley-Cohen, his rider, is trying to become the first amateur in 17 years to win the big race. Number 30 is Silver Birch. His second run in the Grand National. He fell at the chair last year, and he's one of the outsiders. 31 is Filson Run, trained by Nick Williams, and a first ride in the race for capable Daryl Jacob. 32 Puntel, ridden by Tom Scudamore, trained by David Pipe. It's the old Pipe-Scudamore combination again, but a new generation. Number 33, another grey. That's the Outlier, trained by Venetia Williams, and this is her 11th runner in the big race. 34, Tickram, ridden by Wayne Hutchinson, having his first ride in the Grand National and trained by Alan King. 35 is McKelvey, thought of by many to be a real lively outsider, a first ride for the champion conditional rider Tom O'Brien, Peter Bowen the trainer. 36 is Norton Brook, ridden by Noel Feely. He's already tasted success today here at Aintree, and he's trained by Nigel Twiston-Davies, who's had 2 winners in the race. 37 is Jack High, trained by Ted Walsh and ridden by Richie McGrath. Ted, of course, won the race. He trained Papillon to win, ridden by Ruby. 38 is Son of a Fushi, trained by Venetia Williams, another runner for her in the big race, and Mr. Tom Greenall having his second ride in this big event. 39 is the favourite Joe's Edge, Graham Lee in the saddle. He won the race on Amberley House, a horse trained by Ferdy Murphy, and this is Graham's 5th ride in the race. And finally, number 40, Leduc, ridden by Dominic Ellsworth and carrying the famous colours of the Stewart family. They are the 40 runners.
Well, just think how worried everybody can be, because I've got Thomas going around in the Grand National. Just think how worried Tommy Carmody will be, the former jockey, because he's got 2 sons going around in it, Philip and Paul. Paul, the elder brother here, are you going to look after your younger brother?
So he'd have to look after Fred for himself now out there. It's going to be enough job looking after myself now around there. I'm sure he'll be alright though.
Then Derry seems in good form?
Yeah, he seems to be great form. He's very happy with him, so keep the fingers crossed. Hopefully get a safe run.
And Philip, you've got a great ride here on Barrow Point. How do you fancy your chances?
Great now, I suppose if Paul doesn't bring me down, I won't bring him down. So that's if we stay out of each other's way, we'll be happy and hoping for a clear run and a good run of it. And what more can you ask for in a race like this? You know?
You've won the Champion Hurdle already this season. It'll be a great double to win the Grand National as well.
Nice double, yeah. I suppose it's a different horse, different race, and I suppose it'd be great to do it. Well, obviously, it'd be great for anyone to do it, even without a Champion Hurdle or anything like that. So it's a race of its own. So it's great to be a part of it.
Well, it's a wonderful occasion. Great, good luck, boys. From one very worried father looking to one very worried father back in Ireland, Tommy Carmody. Good luck.
The tension is building down here. This is the saddling area. The horses are getting saddled. I'm joined by Mike Strong, brother-in-law, of course, of Martin St. Quentin, who owns Moncur Hostin. Martin isn't here today.
No, unfortunately he's in Barbados watching the cricket, and he's had to travel across to get to a betting shop or BBC to watch it. So,
what chance has Moncur Hostin had?
We think it's got a great chance. A bit high in the weight, but handicap-wise, he's got a great chance. Just the records are against him a little bit, but if he's in there with a chance, he'll run on.
It's a wonderful race. It must be a great sense of excitement, being part of a horse with a squeak.
Yeah, I think Martin's ruined whoever made the booking, and he's really missing it today. It's the worst day of his life not to be here, so yeah, we're really hopeful.
Well, enjoy the race, and let's hope the best horse wins. He comes back safe.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, thank you.
Well, we still don't know who's going to be favourite for the John Smith's Grand National, but I can tell you that it's really hotting up down here in the ring, and a lot of horses are shortening, none more so than Moncur Hostin, who's been a bigger price and is now only 14 to 1. But I'll tell you what is quite interesting, that you'll be able to this year bet in running in the Grand National. I know Ladbrokes and Stan James, for example, are going to bet in running. Stan James said the first circuit will be each way, the second circuit will be win, and that gives you an opportunity to change your opinion or have another bet if your horse falls. Well, if your horse does fall, Victor Chandler will give you your money back. So they'll refund it with a free bet. So that's a good incentive if you fancy a horse that's a dodgy jumper. So Monka Hostin's attracting support. There's also bigger prices on the betting exchanges on last year's winner, number 6 Valverde. Pretty tight here on the track at 14s, and 18, 19 and even 20 to small money up there on the exchange for a win on last year's winner. So there's a lot of opportunities. Most firms are 4 places on the each way, although do look around. Blue Square Stand James 2 are offering 5 places. It's just worth that little extra incentive.